A real estate investor finds a smart addition to their business. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome to this week's edition of NoteSchool TV, where every Wednesday at 11:05 Central Time, we go live. And today we have an amazing guest, and she is from the Smoky Mountains in the great state of Tennessee. So we'll have her on in just a minute. But before we do, I want to ask three things. Number one, ask you to like NoteSchool TV. Ask you to like what you see and what we do every week. We do put a lot of effort into this, into bringing you what's really going on in the real estate and note investing world. And then number two, subscribe to the NoteSchool TV channel if you have not already done so. And number three, hit that bell notification. Yeah, I mean, like right now, hit that bell notification so that you will be notified each week right before, we go live every Wednesday at 11:05 Central Time. And also, guys, if you please keep the comments and the questions coming. You guys have been really doing a great job. We appreciate the comments and asking questions. You can reach out to us so that you can learn more about what we do at NoteSchool. And at NoteSchool, we show you how to close more deals. So just reach out to us, noteschool.com/TV. Again, noteschool.com/TV. So we're going to do the news real quick, and then we are going to jump on and bring our guest on. So we are ready to roll. So in the news this week, U.S. home prices hits a record of $416,000 as sales continue to slide. Hits a record high as sales continue to slide. So if we look here, again, here it is, $416,000 as of June 30th. And you'll see right in here, it's up and down, up and down, up and down, and again, going up. But the interesting part is they're still going up, even though sales are continuing to slide. So if we look at then from Realtor.com, just reported for July 22nd, or as of July 22nd, inventory is experiencing some growth, right? So that's a good thing for everyone, right? So 747,000 listings on the MLS, multiple listing service, and you can see that the lines from 17 up here to 18 and so on. They, you can see how they've been running and looking down. Look at 2020, look at 2021, and then look at where we are here in July. So guys, again, a lot of things going on in the market. We show you what's going on so you'll be more informed, but I can tell you that, as you hear our guest today talk, our creative financing in times like we're living, right, when people are a little bit unsure, a little bit scared, and the sentiment for buying a home is way down, right? We showed you that a couple of weeks ago, that creative financing is the way to go. So with that, let's bring on, NoteSchool's founder, my friend, and all-around good guy, head visionary, Mr. Eddie Speed.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Joe. How are you?
You know what? I'm doing great. Can't wait to see our guest today. But yeah, still, as we continue to move forward, prices going up and inventory going up, you'd have thought it would have been opposite that, right?
Well, I think the key to it is, Joe, people say, why does creative financing help you close more deals? And it's pretty simple. The reason that we're seeing these market changes is because of rates rising and prices rising. Right. It makes the affordability factor in a pretty traumatic zone, which you talked about last week.
Mm-hmm.
And so the deal is creative financing, because of the way you configure it, allows you to have a more affordable rate than just conventional financing.
It does.
And so there's a lot of different ways that you do that. Our guest today is going to talk about how she is accomplishing that in her real estate business. And Joe, this must be former school teacher month.
Yes, our guest from last week, Becky Krimmer in Cincinnati, her and her husband Paul were on, and she was a former school teacher.
Yeah. And Brenda is our guest this week, and she's a former school teacher. So with no further ado, let's welcome our guest, Miss Brenda West.
Hi, everybody. Hi.
How
Eddie.
are you?
Good. How are you?
Glad you're here. Thank you. You live in a really cool part of the world. I love Eastern Tennessee, and used to spend a lot of time over there. And now you're in Knoxville, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
In Sevier County, not Knox County, closer to the Smoky Mountains, in the middle.
So there are more people that visit that area. That is the most visited area east of the Mississippi River.
That's right.
Yeah. So for many years, I had a great experience. We had a joint venture with the Claytons, Clayton Home, and I dealt with Kevin Clayton a lot. I dealt with his dad, Jim, but I dealt with Kevin a lot and some of his management team. We had a relationship together, really good folks. I love Kevin. And so we went over there on a business trip, and my wife went with me, and we decided we were going to take a few days off. We had a couple with us also, another couple. So we rented a car, and we're going to go on this mountain trip, and we leave Knoxville, and we start down this trail, and I get car sick in the mountains, you know, and this other guy's driving, but I'm sitting in the front seat. And I mean, like, even in the front seat, I'm like just about thinking I'm not going to make it, right? I'm going to have to stop. And there's more curves and more dives and more turns than I've ever seen. And we got to the bottom of the mountain, and there was this store there, and we stopped to go get some water because I needed some badly. And they had this thing, and it said, "You survived 311 curves and 4 miles." You know where I'm talking about?
That's the Dragon. Yes.
The Dragon. Yes, that's it. I've been to the Dragon, and it was a dragon for me.
Motorcycle people love the Dragon.
They do. Yeah.
Eddie, so we could say you slayed the dragon.
You did.
It almost slayed me, Joe, but I victored right at the end. So
there you go. Guys, listen, I'm going to jump off here. And Eddie, you guys have a good time, and I'll see you in a minute.
Awesome. Brenda, we are so glad to have you today. You're a school teacher, former school teacher, and you probably have heard me say that my mother was a school teacher, retired after many years of that. And I had 2 sisters that were school teachers. So I grew up in that family and that environment. So thank you for your contribution for that for many years. And then you became a more active real estate investor.
That's right.
And then you joined NoteSchool's family.
That's right.
What were you looking for? What transitioned you to make that decision?
Well, I found my place in NoteSchool because as a traditional real estate investor, it didn't take me long to figure out I cannot put 20% down on every deal and do bank financing, or 25% down, quickly run out of money. So I did one house, I did another house, and then I was like, what am I going to do? I can't keep doing this. And at my local RIA, I would ask around. Somebody mentioned NoteSchool. I went to a 3-day class. And I've been on every single call since. I can't get enough. Like I've listened to every case study since I joined. Yeah.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, right now, a lot of the real estate investors have done the BRRRR strategy, right? It's become very common.
Mm-hmm.
Buy, rehab, rent, and refi.
That's right.
Problem is, it's hard to make the math work when you're refining into an 8% environment.
That's right. And your repairs, everything costs more than you think.
Yeah.
Always.
So we're really seeing a lot of real estate investors coming to us like you that are, some of them have done hundreds of deals and buy hundreds of properties a year, and some of them are you, and some of them like you, and they do 2 or 3 a year, right? But they're all coming to us with the same thing, and that is, I got to utilize creative financing so that I can make my math work, because I can't just pay the interest rates that the mortgage lenders are charging and make this thing model out in cash flow.
That's
right.
right.
And that's kind of what you said, right?
Exactly.
And then, so that's really what our intent was. I appreciate your talking about our training. We try to, it probably goes without saying, I'm pretty passionate about this.
I can see that.
And I feel like it's my calling. I mean, I feel like Joe and I, it's our calling. We have experienced this a lot along the way. And so we just, like when you're talking about the case studies and stuff, Joe and I just get excited we call them deal labs, right? We get excited for every deal lab because we're fixing to go help somebody map out how to go make a deal better.
That's right. And I've noticed, being around teachers for over 20 years and a teacher myself and studying the profession, you're an excellent teacher, Eddie. You listen, you respond, you give students what they need, sometimes a little harshly, but they need it. And you make sure those are the people that, they can handle that. But then you're really gentle with the newbies, and you've got it figured out, this teaching thing. I can tell it's in your heart to be a teacher.
Well, if I'm telling somebody a little bit more about how it is, I probably have a deep background with them. They've probably been with me a long time, and they are ready for me to push them at a different level. Right?
And as a teacher, I think that's exactly what you need to do, is intuitively know where that student is, and how and when to push and get them where they need to be, taking them from where they are to the next level.
Yeah. We have quite a variety of students, right? I mean, we have people that are crazy seasoned and done that literally thousands of deals. And then we have people that are fairly new and done just a few deals. And we try to adjust how we go about it. But you're getting to ride on the bus and see the most seasoned students with the, they know the basics. Now we're down to the finer points. Don't forget to add this. Don't forget to do this. What about trying this and stuff? And I just would say that one thing that I feel like NoteSchool has really worked hard as an ecosystem, and I wanted to talk about that a little bit. What does that ecosystem mean to you?
Well, there's a network of people that are around me at a moment's notice. If I have a question, I can ask and put it out there, and somebody has an answer. And I'm banking on all the experience that everybody in the ecosystem has, because I'm an inexperienced investor learning every day as quickly as I can and growing as quickly as I can. But I have 1,000 questions every day. And if I put them out there on the ecosystem, somebody is going to help me. Everybody is very open to that and jumping on and saying, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Answering the questions. And when I have deals, I can bring them onto the deal lab. And you would lead me very gently through the process of what I need to do next. And it gives me the courage to go forward. And taking your experience and the experience of the ecosystem and applying it to my deals is very valuable to me.
Yeah. And I think like anything we learn, right? You're obviously a very seasoned school teacher, and you've raised kids, and you just learn how to survive in life and multitask and stuff. There becomes a pattern to anything. Like you start learning how to apply the pattern. And I think that's what you're describing, is we're consistently trying to lay down tracks that becomes, here's your trail that you can work yourself up and apply that not just on this deal, but applying on many deals. Like it becomes rinse and repeat. And that's
right. And I'm emboldened because I know whatever I come across, I don't have to know the answer right now. I don't have to know everything right now. I can move forward, and then I can ask NoteSchool community anything that comes up, and I know I'm going to have an answer, because between your experience and everybody's experience in the group, somebody can help me no matter what I'm dealing with.
Well, I think that's a big point I want the audience to get, and that is you don't have to know everything to do anything.
That's right.
And I think that's where we struggle a little bit. You're a meticulous person, and so one of the things and I'm pretty meticulous in a way, right? And so one thing about that personality type is that we tend to want to think, well, we got to know how to do everything all the way through, absolutely perfect, or we can't start. And I think if I like to think in terms of NoteSchool is pretty good at helping people just go get this done and come back and see us. Go get this done and come back and see us. Go get this done. And then all of a sudden you don't have to know everything just to get started. And I wanted to talk to you about how you're applying this. Go give us a story, if you will, of what that looks like and so that people can get a sense of okay, I can see that Brenda started, she's kind of repositioned her career. That's great. Now go tell us about a deal. Now go tell us about something that has allowed you to close more deals because you did this. What was that?
Okay. Well, I would like to give 2 examples if that's okay, but I'll keep them short and sweet.
Yeah.
One is a landlord in my area, and I approached him about buying his house. I could tell the house needed some repair and the tenant was not taking care of it. And he was very open to the idea of selling it to me because he knows I'm investing in the area and that I handle properties. And he even said to me, I'll jerk your arm off if you'll, in a handshake, if you'll take this off my hands. He was so sick of his rental. So I negotiated with him. I said, well, if I'm going to do that, I need to not make payments for a series of months so that I can do the repairs, because I have to take my money and make these repairs. And then when I start paying you, I need you to owner finance it to me with monthly payments over a period of time to make this deal work. And you'll get your cash flow. It'll be passive. You'll never hear from me. You'll just get your check deposited into your bank account. And that's exactly what's happened. And he's tickled to death. And I got very good financing because my landlord, or because the owner financed it to me. And you had taught me to have him take a second. So he took a second so that I had a private money lender with their self-directed IRA funded my repairs.
Awesome.
So I got into this house with 0 money down and fixed it up, and it's doing well and it's appreciated. It was a good deal. So that was just one-off deal. And then there was another investor in the area that wanted to sell his rentals, but he had a large amount of rentals, like 10 or 11. And I took your advice and I took some time with him. It took a couple of months to talk about it. So we talked about it, what would work for him, what would work for me. He wanted to do a 1031 tax exchange. So he owner financed to me the money down, and I got a bank loan for the rest. I would have preferred 100% owner financing, but he needed it this way and I needed owner financing. And so we met in the middle and compromised, and it's worked out for both of us. So that's 2 situations that's really allowed me to do well with my business based on what you've taught me and getting the owners to be the bank.
So how many houses did he have?
You know what? I think 3 of them he did straight up owner financing. So he did owner finance 3 of them to me at 3% at a decent price. And then there's another 10 that I bought from him. So I've taken 13 from him. Yes.
So you bought 13 from him and you bought 1 house from another guy, 14.
Mm-hmm.
So am I understanding you correctly that with creative financing, you bought 14 houses for less money down than you bought the other 2 houses before you started?
That is exactly right. And that is the point I'm trying to make. I did not put any money down on either of these of either of those deals. And previous to that, I had put 20% down and quickly ran.
And that was before rates had gone up. And now all of a sudden, creative financing even becomes more powerful because you're getting quoted an 8% mortgage rate, right? To
That's
go
right.
get a rent property loan.
That's right.
So I would say you have a unique advantage in your market, Brenda.
I would think so. I don't know of anybody else that's doing those things. When I go to the RIAs or talk to other investors, I refer them to NoteSchool, but I don't know anybody that's followed it. And to get to this place, I joined NoteSchool, and I follow it every week. Like, I'm listening literally to every case study that comes across and learning all the time. And then each week there's something new that I learned or that I picked up. And as a lifelong learner, I just love that in and of itself. And then when I take that and apply it, it's very exciting.
Well, Brenda, you're doing deals. You've bought 14 houses with less cash down payment, essentially none.
Yes.
That 2 houses before you joined NoteSchool was taking 20 and 25% down payment.
That's right.
And as you said, you run out of runway really fast as far as the money goes.
Yes. Like my daughter says, I run out of road.
Yeah.
I ran out of road. Yeah.
Brenda, we're going to hear a word from our sponsor. This is how most people get started with NoteSchool. It's something fairly simple, not overly, you don't have to overly commit. So we'll talk about a word from NoteSchool and its little one-day class, and then we'll come back and talk about what all this means in your life. Be back.
Well, hello, everyone. It is Brian with the teaching team here at NoteSchool, and I'm excited that I get to be the one to invite you to the upcoming Gold in Notes class. That's right. It is a one-day deeper dive class that we call Gold in Notes because of how valuable this time spent is. This is a full day that we really get to dig into the nitty-gritty, the whole world of creative financing, not just how to acquire more deals, how to get access to more capital, how to defer a lot of the taxes for us as well as for the sellers that we're talking to, and really learn how to create your own notes. And really, once you learn how to create your own notes, this is really where we spend an entire afternoon really pulling back the curtain on what the note business is, from wholesaling notes, buying and holding performing notes to really build your wealth. I'll even show you a strategy called partials, which is by far the best wealth building tool I've ever seen in the real estate space. And we're definitely going to spend some time talking about non-performing notes, which is by far the biggest opportunity in today's marketplace, solely because of the events that have happened over the past couple of years. This is when people are not paying their mortgages, and we're going to make a lot of big money from these bad debts, and we're going to help a lot of people get a second chance. It's an absolutely fantastic day. Come spend a day really digging and discover a lot of this stuff so that you too can start building your wealth. It's a day meant to really be engaging. Bring your questions, bring your comments, bring your business problems, and we will see you there.
Welcome back, everybody. We have Miss Brenda West. She is from Sevier County, Tennessee, one of my favorite places in the world. I guess everybody in the world wants to know if you've been to Dolly Parton's, what's it called?
Dollywood.
Dollywood. Yeah, that's right.
Of course. And I was
1 million times.
Oh, yes. And before that, it was Silver Dollar City. Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I grew up in Mississippi, and so our family vacation many times ended up going to the Smokies. So I have some fond memories as a little guy and that part of the world. So you have inked out a really good living up there. I guess the audience caught this. You have decided not to go back to teaching school.
I have. I've made that decision, yes.
And is it because of this that has enabled you that you could have that decision easier to make?
Yes, by far. And I have to say, I'm honored and grateful to have taught as long as I did. But I think, 20 years plus, I was ready to do something different. As a teacher, it is service. It is public service. So I'm proud of that. And I worked long, hard hours for a very long time. And it's just for very little pay, let's be honest. And I was happy to do it. I'm glad that I did it, but I did not want to keep doing that. Yeah. So I was ready for a change. And honestly, a lot of people just want a change of career after 20 years. It's not uncommon.
They do. We see that a lot. It's probably the most common thread that we see at NoteSchool is that people have done something and it was a worthy career and they were great at it, but they see this and they see some freedom. I don't know that I've ever told you this, but we have had in the past NoteSchool for teens. And I would like to bring that back in some stages along the way. And I might reach out to some old school teachers.
I love that idea, Eddie. Our kids today are not getting the financial education that they need. It's really pitiful. Yeah. I feel so bad for them, and they're lost, and nobody's leading them, but they've never been taught financial education.
We have a heart for that. So I'm glad you mentioned that. As we laughed and said, it's kind of been school teacher month. But I know that what you know about education and training. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the fact that, like, when you're in NoteSchool, like you sort of said you were fairly much a beginner. You meet some guys in NoteSchool that have done a lot of business, like tons of business, and you look at it and say, was that intimidating to be around the people of that caliber?
To begin with, and then I got my head on straight and I started thinking about it like this. If I'm in a room or in an environment or an ecosystem with people that are doing way more and better than me, then I'm going to rise to that, or I'm going to go up. I'm going to meet them. And it doesn't intimidate me anymore, but it took a little time, but it doesn't anymore. To begin with, it did. And I'm grateful to be in a room or in a space with people that are more experienced than I am.
So what would you say to somebody that's watching this show and hasn't done hundreds of property deals? Is it okay? Is the water okay?
The water is okay. Everybody has been very helpful, like I said previously, answering my questions, very supportive. It's a safe space to learn. Absolutely.
I appreciate your saying that. And you kind of had said that, like you kind of commented about some things that you wanted to say on the show, just to sort of gathered some of your thoughts. And I thought that was a great comment. I look at it like this, like you have the same seat at the table as a guy that closed 300 houses last year. Now I'm going to take him to a different level, but you get to hear how I did it. Right. And when I started in the business you heard me tell the story about my father-in-law, you can imagine how seasoned he was.
Yes.
But see, I had a seat at the table with him.
That's right.
And so I could learn good habits and I could follow what he was saying. The more I heard it, the clearer I became. And I appreciate the fact that you got a pretty great track record in just going out and figuring out how to build your portfolio. And we haven't talked about whether you rent them or whether you resell them on wraps and all that's, I think, an individual investor's perspective versus what the property kind of tells you to do. And we talk about that a lot in these case studies, like what that looks like. We'll talk about the most important thing to wrap this up.
Okay.
It's your why.
That's right.
What is that?
Well, for me personally, it was I could get some of my time back and not be constantly working all the time. So now I have a more flexible schedule. Although I do work, I think just as much. It's more flexible and I enjoy what I'm doing. And then my why is so that my children see me doing something different, because I was unhappy and they could see that. And instead of just whining about it, which I teach them no whining, we're not whining. Instead of just whining about it, watch me do something different. And I want them to know that if they follow their heart and they want to start a career in whatever they choose to do that. But always be investing so that if you ever reach a point where you want to change of career, you're not stuck. I just don't want them ever to be stuck. I just think that's not a good place for a person to be. So I want them to know that they can make a change whenever they want. And I want to teach them how to invest at a young age as teenagers, so they don't have to struggle like I did.
It's okay to reinvent yourself.
It's okay to make a change. You're not a tree. You're not stuck. You can move. That's right.
That's awesome. Joe, I'm going to let you come back and wrap us up. This is a great story with Brenda. And I don't know about you, Joe, but if that doesn't light your fire, your wood's wet.
Well, Eddie, you're exactly right. So we learned another one too that we can kind of steal from Brenda. And that was the guy said that I'll jerk your arm off in a handshake if you'll take these deals off my hands.
He did. He said that. He was ready. And when he met me, he was like, that's my person. We're doing a deal.
Yeah. That's jerk your hand off in a handshake. So yeah, so we got us a new one. Brenda, it was amazing, right? I mean, you did amazing. And it's about options. And when you have those options, things can be, your outlook on life is so much different. And that's what we've tried to teach our kids. And I know that's what Eddie and Martha taught Hudson and Wood and Emily. Have some options out there. Always have something to do that you can do, and you have fun doing it. Thanks so much. I'll wrap us up here. And Brenda from Sevierville, you're from Seymour though, right?
That's right. It's in between Knoxville and Sevierville.
I know where Seymour is. I love the Ye Olde Steakhouse. I don't know if we've talked about that, but is that still there?
It is. It's busy every night. Yes.
Every night. Man, it's good. Eddie, we need to do a class in Knoxville so we can go, let Brenda go take us there. So
please do.
There you go. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Listen, great interview today with Brenda. And again, it's just, you never know. It's having a conversation. It's being able to do, 14 deals in a year or so. And it's talking, and you never know what the next minute is going to bring. So I encourage you guys to continue your education, continue to grow. I love that she said, hey, you're not a tree. You're not stuck in one place, but you can get out and you can move around, and you can negotiate around, because there's plenty of deals out there. We just have to get out there and have a conversation. So that is this week's episode of NoteSchool TV, again at NoteSchool, where we teach you how to close more deals. For more information, noteschool.com/TV, noteschool.com/TV, and we will see you on the other side. Thanks, and have a great week.
Brenda, that's awesome.